Hello everybody. So I wanted to make a new video about a topic that I've been talking about lately with people that come into my life. So last year I met a shaman and I met a woman. Meeting this woman, I got triggered. It was a childhood wound that came out, or childhood wound. Just being near each other, there's some attraction, some expectations, and there was like this childhood thing that came up of like not feeling included, feeling ignored, feeling left out, these kind of things. And then we started to have like this back and forth communication, and as the months went by, we had moments, and almost every time that we met, almost every time, she got triggered, some kind of fear for her, and I got triggered. And in these moments, it was usually some kind of childhood trigger, or it was the situations revealed that there was some unresolved hurt that was touched by the other person's behavior. That somehow, by being near each other and just being ourselves, not necessarily wanting to do something, but something in me was like, I feel like this, and I feel the sadness, or the other person might feel unsafe, or whatever. Things started to reveal themselves. And I understand, looking back on it, when you see that you have this kind of person in your life, you can go about it in different ways. You can try to blame that person and say it's their fault, it's their behavior, but it's I watched a video recently on the Danny Morale podcast, the Higher Self, and they were in a conversation and they talked. It's like whenever you blame somebody, it's like you're saying it's your fault that I'm feeling like this. And in a way, you do this because you don't want to feel what you feel. You have resistance to feeling what you feel. So you're asking them to change the behavior so you don't have to feel like this. Sometimes it's valid for sure, but if you're gonna try and do this with everybody all the time, yeah, you can see where it's going. So you cannot really try to control everybody in the world, right? So I started to work with the shaman online. I started to do shamanic journeys. So every now and then we would online, we would just connect, we'd talk about certain things that came up. And I also like made a list for myself. Like I was seeing what patterns in my life are like draining energy, are like where am I wasting energy? Where am I behaving in ways that are less than conscious or really unconscious? Or where am I having like these coping mechanisms that are active, using food to feel good or other things. And doing these sessions, things start to shift. And there's like a sort of transformation process going on. Because on an energetic level, things shift, and then on a physical level, things start to. So the inner shift has been done, and then the outer shift is also occurring. It's manifesting. And so I noticed that if you have a relationship with a person, like for me, for instance, with that woman, and these things keep coming up, this material keeps coming up, but you don't take note of it. For instance, you can write it down. Like, this happened, this was my reaction. Just keep that. And then you don't have tools or people or your own way of working with whatever these experiences reveal to you. Like, to sense, how did you feel back? Where did it come from? What happened? For instance, you can do a shamanic journey about it. You can do family constellations about it. You can work with different energy healing types of ways on it. Or you can do regressive therapy. Regression therapy is where you zone in on the experience in your body on a visceral level, and you go into that energy and you trace it back. Where did it originate from? And then you can find that in your childhood or somewhere else, there was a moment where something happened and there was a kind of interpretation, a subconscious belief, a subconscious a traumatic experience that happened, and there was a kind of perception that was stored. And now in this relationship with this person in the moment, in this present moment, by this person behaving a certain way, this old information is being triggered. But you're not aware that you're just aware of the emotion of it now. And so you're reacting from that emotion to this person, seeing that person as the cause of that emotion. But the emotion is in you, as something in your system is just activated by this behavior. And it's interesting because when you resolve this, when this is integrated, when you change the past, let's say by going back to that original point, and you recontextualize, you bring awareness into it, and you see what was really going on, and there's a recontextualization happening, and the stuck energy is released and it can flow again. All of a sudden you notice this person in the present moment can behave a certain way, but you're not triggered. You don't feel the same triggered emotion anymore. You just like, you're responding from a conscious place, from presence. And that reaction in you is not there anymore. And then I realized it's so important to use these things. If things keep coming up in your relationships, in your life, and you can write it down, and then look at the big things. And don't go about obsessing or overdoing it, but just look at the really important things that you feel like, if this I changed, this would have a great impact, or this could really release a lot of stress or tension. Could also do breath work or somatic work, working with the energetics in the body, working with the stuck energy in the body, and teaching your body to feel, so that when you get triggered, instead of trying to fight the trigger, escape the trigger, or being almost like taken over by the energy of the trigger, going into reaction, you teach your body to stay present, to breathe through it, to feel into it, and to understand that you feel like this, but you don't have to become this. It's just something that's there, and you can be aware of it, and you can allow your body to process, and then you can allow yourself to go into a vulnerable position. And when you go into a vulnerable position where you allow yourself to feel and express what you authentically feel, your expression changes. Instead of going into reaction, into fear, into anger, into blaming, into fighting, you show the other person that you're hurt, or you express that it's difficult for you, and you own or you hold this in you, and you allow this to flow through you, and the emotions then change and flow, and the interaction changes. And the way that this pattern was expressed also changes. It can be very profound experience. It feels very intimate. It can feel very scary also. Anyway, the importance is notice things in your life that come up and use this information. Set the intention, I want to heal these things. God or guardian angel or the divine, please help me to heal these patterns in a perfect and graceful way. Just set an intention, set a prayer, and then see what you're attracted to, what modalities, and try different modalities if you feel drawn to them, to work with certain things. And then you'll see the more and more that you're doing this work, the less and less triggers there are, the more and more harmonious your quality of life is, the more your patterns change from coping mechanisms to energy expressing itself through you in doing what you really value, what you really want to do. Not what you need to do to make up for some hurt or to make yourself feel better, but what you really feel like you're doing, like you want to invest your energy in. Like for instance, if somebody has an addictive pattern, it's not that they necessarily want to invest their energy into this addictive pattern. It's because they have a cause, they feel a certain feeling, a lack or pain or whatever, and they want to cover up or make themselves feel better, right? They want to make up for that feeling through using something. And by doing the inner work, these feelings resolve, and then all of a sudden there's no cause anymore to do the behavior. Unless you really, really, really want to do it and there's you enjoy doing it. But oftentimes when we look back, when we reflect on certain patterns and patterns that we've been living out, we've been expressing, we reflect, this is not really what I want to express. This is not really what I want to be, what I want to do, what I want to bring into this world. This doesn't really resonate with me, but it still happens. So find something so that you can work with the material that life reveals to you. And more and more and more that you do this, more and more growth, integration, authenticity, sincerity, alignment you'll have, and wholeness you'll experience inside. So this is really, really important. So yeah, let me know what you think, and good luck to everybody. It's quite a process, but it's so profound and so rich if you really embrace this, that these are all opportunities to heal.